Al, do you remember the plot of this series? Because apparently we're back.
I don't remember what the plot was like when we left off last, but yeah, we're back. We're finally
Everybody's here.
everybody's here. It's just Smash Brothers with Inuyasha.
Yeah, we get to see characters we haven't seen in like a year. Feels like.
Yeah, it feels like forever.
So yeah, we get to see a whole bunch of folks this week.
Mm-hmm.
Here on this week's episode, Jared now watch Inuyasha. It is episode number 67. Jared joined as always by Doc Al and Ladium.
Hello, hello.
We are discussing episode 66 or season 3, episode 12, entitled Naraku's Barrier, Kagura's Decision.
This is like the most stereotypical phrasing of an Inuyasha title.
Yep.
I love it.
You're not wrong. We begin this episode with Sesshomaru.
Whoa, that guy. He exists.
Fellow we haven't seen in a while, yeah. He's hanging out with his group. Ren's seeing a shooting star and is like, oh, the moon's going to disappear as well. She wants to stay with Sesshomaru forever, which you just remembered. Oh, right, that actually happens. Yuck.
Yuck. Yeah, I kind of made a barf noise when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ugh. Spoilers
And he's like,
for
hey.
the sequel, I guess.
He's like, hey, don't fall behind. And then he also is just like, something's weird here. Kagura is hanging out at Naraku's castle and just being like, tomorrow's a new moon. Yep, that's the thing. Anyways, there's some demons leaving the barrier. That's weird. Real strange. Inuyasha and his group are on the hunt for Naraku as well, and he's trying to sniff the ground and is not really working because it's the day before the new moon. He's about to transform again. And then Koga and his boys are also running around, and we see a cyclone show up, and they just run. It runs Inuyasha over. He's like, oh, hey, Kagome, how's it going? Long time no see.
Black footprints all over Inuyasha. And Sango's like, well, that's what you get for being on all fours sniffing the ground. Also, you forgot to mention the panting dogs or panting wolves, which was hilarious.
Yeah, like they're trying to catch up with Koga and like his boys, and there's a bunch of dogs, and the dogs are just behind them, just tongues out. It's like, it's very good.
It's like me when I run.
But yeah, Koga is like, I've been sniffing an Naraku scent. His castle must be nearby. We're gonna go find that. Do all that sort of stuff. But Inuyasha also wants to fight Koga because they still got beef. Because he doesn't like Koga flirting with Kagome. And essentially nothing happens because Inuyasha gets thrown to the ground via sit. And then Koga's like, well, I gotta go, see you later.
Yep.
So yeah, Koga runs away, then his pals show up, and they're like, oh god, wait for us, Koga. Oh, hey, Kagome. Can't stay. It's nice seeing you. The other one's like, oh, can't stay and talk. Gotta go. And the dogs run around behind him as well. It's very funny. But yeah, Koga eventually finds a place where the scent is the strongest, and then Kagura shows up, and she's gonna fight him, and Koga also wants to kill Kagura because she moided all his boys. Also, Kagura goes off to fight Koga by herself against Naraku's wishes because Kana's like, yeah, he's gone. We can't find him. He's gone for a little bit. Anyways, you shouldn't go fight him. That's a bad idea. And Kagura's like, nah, I'm gonna go fight him. I don't care. Whatevs. So she fights Koga. Koga gets a little bit of a surprise on her, but then she traps him in like this weird tornado with skulls in it because she brings forth her fun skull friends after she's like, I'm not going to use trickery like Naraku. Anyways, here's my skull army.
My skull army. Not trickery at all.
Definitely not trickery at all. So she traps him in this tornado of skulls, and like it's gonna chop him up if he doesn't escape or anything. And then his boys are like, we gotta do something. We should steal her fan. Like, yeah, we can't do that. She'll notice us. Anyways, let's go find Inuyasha and Kagome. Which they're all just hanging out. Inuyasha's already de-transformed. He's this human boy again. They're like, Sango and Moroku are like, yeah, we'll go find the castle. We'll make Inuyasha stay here. Because he's not going to be helpful at all because he's just a normal, regular dude.
Just a guy.
And we'll figure out what's happening and get things done. And then the boys show up and they're like, And Kagome's like, Inuyasha, you gotta hide. And she just chucks him into this little house that they have. And the boys explain the situation, like, yeah, Kagura's messing up Koga. We need help. Blah blah blah. And Inuyasha's like hiding. I think he's talking with Shippo.
Yeah.
And Shippo's like, you better not go out there. And Inuyasha's like, I wouldn't go out and help Koga of all people. Forget about it. Ain't happening. But then eventually he just gets baited in because, like, Shippo's like, hey, you can't show them your mortal self. He's like, I don't care. Blah. Just kicks the door open and then bonks those two guys like, don't tell anyone about this or I'll kill you. And then they all go off to go find Koga and Kagura. Koga eventually escapes from the tornado, but then he gets his jewel shards extracted from his leggies and is about to get got until everyone arrives, and Kagura's like, I gotta get out of here. See you later.
Get got.
Yep. So Koga does not have his jewel shards anymore. He's just
regular
a dude
demon
now. And Inuyasha shows up and is like, hey, what's up? I'm also a regular dude. How's it going? Let's fight. But Kagome's like, no, I'm going to tend to this man's wounds because he is very badly injured. And that is not good. And Koga's like, oh, I like this. Blah, she. And Inuyasha's like, I don't like this at all. Kagura runs away. She has the jewel shards. She realizes Naraku's gone. The barrier's getting weaker. She's like, I need to find a way to separate myself from Naraku because he holds my heart, and if I can't escape from him fully, I can't be free. So I need to figure out who I can go to sever this tie.
Here's
and
some
she
Kagura
looks in
spaghetti.
Yes, she looks in the sky and sees the Sesshomaru constellation and is like, oh yes, Sesshomaru. I know that feller. He could help.
It was so weird because it's just like, this looks like a sword. Oh, right, that guy.
Yep. So Sesshomaru and his group are like on a cliff and just like stop for a second. And then Kagura shows up and Jockin's like, oh, she's with Naraku, that guy who bad-mouthed you, Lord Sesshomaru. And Sesshomaru's ready to just fight automatically, and Kagura's like, whoa, I didn't come here to fight. I've got a proposition for
Put
you.
that
You
sword
see-
away, friend.
You see these jewel shards? I'll give them to you if you kill Naraku. And that's how we end our episode.
Like, free me, please. Please.
Free me.
Free me. Please.
So yeah, that's how we end our episode.
Mhm.
We got a few notes here. Kagura's desire for freedom is explored in this episode.
What? No.
The audience is shown what Naraku's minions do while he's away.
They just float around? I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, there's just dead guys laying around the castle.
Yep. Naraku's disguise is rather pointless now. All the retainers of the Hitomi clan have been killed by his poison gas or whatever it was.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Stinky gas.
Stinky gas. He just
Koga and
farted a lot.
Yeah. that's why this castle's all stuffy.
Yep.
Koga and the boys discover when Inuyasha's human night is. Which is a weird way to describe that.
That is a really weird way to describe that.
Kagura can control anything that was once alive with her Dance of the Dead, as she controls skeletons instead of fresh corpses. So there you go. Also, we kind of, I guess you, as an audience, you kind of get an understanding of why Naraku has disappeared and why it coincides with Inuyasha's day where he becomes mortal, is that they have very similar problems, essentially, which I think we're going to dive into next episode. Like, they'll actually, like, tell you about it, but, like, it is very heavily hinted at here that, like, yeah, there's a reason why he's gone and why it coincides with this day in particular.
I think Kagura mentions like 15 times in this dang episode, like, the barrier is weak for some reason, or the demons are doing this, or he disappears sometimes. It's like, wow, Kagura, hit us over the head with it. Why don't you?
And there's like a very slight scene where you see him like in the basement of the castle, just like laying there.
Yep.
Just like, bleh.
His eyes are all white though, which is strange and creepy.
He's like, Kagura, you're escaping.
Oh,
Grrr.
Grrr.
But yeah, that's how we end our episode. We're back in the plot.
Back in the plot.
Things are happening.
There's a Sesshomaru constellation that we now know about.
Yeah, of course.
We gotta go find that in the sky.
So next time we will be discussing episode 67 entitled The Howling Wind of Betrayal.
Wow, I wonder if this is going to have to do with the fact that Kagura is the gal of wind and she's trying to betray.
She wants to be as
Naraku.
free as the wind.
It's true, she does.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be something completely different.
Yeah, it's probably totally something different.
So join us next week as we dive into that. Some more plot for you. But for now, if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, is where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. So you got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup, and you can buy our books, One Shiny Moment and Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, Hot Tubs, and Pac-Man on Amazon.com.
Breathe.
So join us next week as we continue the plot.